Pugna, Ursa, Elder Titan, Tiny, and Crystal Maiden. So it should be Ursa safe lane, Pugna mid, Tiny off lane, Elder Titan 4, Crystal Maiden 5 with her hovering dog. Then for the Dire side, you've got Phoenix, Grimstroke, Mirana, Pudge, Tinker. Tinker mid with Pudge going top to help out this Mirana. And Grimstroke supporting, as is the Phoenix. Although Phoenix is in the off lane, so it should be Pudge supporting as well as the Grimstroke. So 4, 5, and then Phoenix 3. See how this goes.
It isn't the bad
Should be an interesting one. The lineups aren't exactly your standard lineups, nothing too crazy. In terms of just sticking to the meta or anything, but over top to get a hook. I have the vision to keep harassing this Tiny. They've got Elder Titan nearby, and usually when you see an Elder Titan, there's usually a stack that comes out here. And what you do is you send your spirit over to these creeps, over to the creep wave, and you go in to try and get as much damage as you can. But the arrow hits with the ink swell, and they get themselves a very easy kill, and that's possibly the combination they're going to be looking for. With the hook to steal the bounty. Easy does it. Grabbing the second bounty. So first blood and 2 bounties. Not a bad way to start this off for the Dire team. They'll bring the Elder Titan back over towards top. They both have a stout shield. But yeah, let's see how this goes. With 3 over top, you're looking to just land a hook. And if you can land a hook, Inkswell on top of that as well as the arrow is probably a guaranteed kill. Hook comes out, unfortunately hits the creep that goes towards this Tiny after it had already been sent on its way, and the creep just kind of gets right in front of the Tiny, saving his life, presidential style. Take a look over mid. It's the Tiny up against the Pugna. And the Decrepify to kind of hurt the Tinker in terms of going for last hits, but not really that bad overall. Tinker should have an okay time here going March of the Machines. Can lay that down if need be. Throw a laser out. So I don't think this should be really that hard of a lane for the Tinker. We take a look over bottom as it's the solo Phoenix up against the Ursa as well as the Crystal Maiden. And for now, they only have Crystal Nova. Level 2 might just bring Arcane Aura, then maybe level 3 go into the Frostbite as you want that mana regen, which will help out the team. So truthfully, I don't really believe that this Phoenix should be in too much trouble with there being little to no lockdown here, especially at the moment. It seems to me that you're not going to get hit hard by this Ursa, and all you really have to deal with is, in fact, this Crystal Nova. Taking back a look over towards top, as this is kind of my lane of interest at the moment. You've got the Pugna, 10 and 4 is doing a good job over mid. The Tinker is not doing too poorly. The Decrepify is probably taking him away from a couple last hits, but nothing too horrible to deal with. He's got a double damage right now. Has gone 2 in to the March of the Machines. It really, right now, it's fine. The Tinker's not too far behind. I don't think he's getting too far behind. He's got 3 denies to the 4 of the Pugna. It might start to slip in the Pugna's favor, but Tinker is one of those heroes that can surely make it up. They have not stacked this camp yet. We'll see if he does now. This is looking like that's what he's setting up for, and that's usually the go-to, especially when you've put it, like, that's the purpose of putting the Elder Titan in the offlane. You want him to be able to harass quite a bit, and using this stack and then going towards the creeps, getting the, especially if they're tri-laning against these heroes, you're getting 3 hero hits, creep hits, and the camp hits on a stack, and you should be okay. They get the Mirana, and now the Inkswell on the Pudge chasing this Elder Titan, and the Inkswell Pops gets the kill, so they will trade 1 for 1. But that'll bring the Elder Titan back full health, full mana, so truthfully, not the worst death. Tactical feeding. Soaring picked up for the Tinker. But there it is. The Spirit hits on 2 heroes. Toss comes out with the Avalanche. He's only getting 60 there. I guess he's not really been given that kind of time to throw the Spirit over towards the stack camp as well as the heroes. He kind of just threw it out and pulled it back. They'll both salve up, stay in the lane as he was getting harassed quite a bit. And now they're going to spot this stack out. Like, again, I just don't think this Phoenix is in too much trouble. I don't think at full health he's going to die at the moment. The harassment can come through with the Crystal Nova as well as the Frostbite, but now that the Crystal Maiden's not even towards this lane or not even by this lane, it's fine for the Phoenix. And doing a lot of damage to the Ursa, actually pushing him away from these creeps, forcing him to regen a little bit. Landing those Spirits, slowing down the attack speed. Like, again, even with the lockdown of the Frostbite, I don't think this Phoenix is in too much trouble. But over towards top, Elder Titan as well as Tiny getting low once again. Stroke of Fate comes in, hits the Tiny and the Elder Titan. So that'll grab a kill. I think it hit the Tiny first. And then came in. Might have been what gave the kill on the Elder Titan. I think it hit the Tiny. They were pretty close to each other. Claw's a missing mid, but he's shown back up. Tinker low and needs to be careful for that Nether Ward. It's hard to harass with that laser when the Nether Ward is sitting back on his high ground. You don't really have vision. There's no way for you to honestly be able to take it out. Crystal Maiden doing some damage over to the Pudge, who roams over towards bottom. But again, the Phoenix okay. Sitting here at level 5, getting close to 6. Has 3 in the Fire Spirits, 1 in the Earth Dive, 1 in the Sunray. And has Tranquil, so healing up fine. The farm's nothing amazing, nothing to write home about. It's 7-1, but again, getting a quicker level 6, not dying to this Ursa, not feeding him and putting him online any quicker than he'll be online naturally is fine. I think that especially as a solo offlaner, you're in a happy spot. Take a look back over top. Spirit comes over the top once again. Has he used these Spirits to... You know, he stacked the camp, but he's just throwing the Spirits on them. I know the lane is pushed up, but I think he... Okay.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Okay. Just trying to get a feel for what his knowledge should be. And I believe, yeah, now he's hit the Spirit on it. He goes by the heroes. He's not past them. He's actually getting hit up hard here by the Starstorm. Stroke of Fate comes out. That only hits onto the Tiny, so Elder Titan won't die. He only picks up an extra 54 damage. And he went 2 into the Stomp for the sweep duration. Again, He's going for another stack. And he gets it. So, yeah, I feel like he should have went 1-2-1. Because then you're picking up the extra bonus damage. Phoenix dying bottom and letting himself get a little bit too low. Tinker over mid. He's sitting low, and they use this Shrine. I know I'm focusing a little bit much on this Elder Titan. I just want to see how he's approaching this game, and now he's sitting pretty low. So he can't play it too aggressively. When you set up that Stomp like that, that lets the Mirana come in. And as we see here, he takes a lot of damage for it. And honestly, if you want to stop that Elder Titan from doing it, you could throw a short duration arrow. You'll get some damage out. You'll stop the Stomp. Saves your team. He's standing stationary. You're not going to miss it unless you're bad. It's a hard lane for the Elder Titan to kind of have that opportunity to throw that Spirit all the way out there and get the Stomp. But it's more just about getting the extra damage. You don't need to sleep them. Courier, hello? Somebody focus. Whee. Whew. Almost losing the Wraith Band. They bring the Pugna over top. He was obviously spotted with the fact that he went after the Courier. They'll go for the sweep. That'll land on the Grimstroke. He might be dead. The toss on top. They throw down the Nether Ward. The Inkswell from the Grimstroke doesn't hit the Pugna, so it should be at least 1 here for the Radiant. As they will get the Grimstroke, they did want more, but the sweep only landed on to that support. And now they're cleaning up this stack. So I think they believe that they can't use this stack to their advantage, and they're just going to clean it up. They brought the Crystal Maiden top, too. That's 4 heroes top. And one of them getting hooked. It's the Elder Titan. The Avalanche comes in. They've got 3 heroes here, and now they've got one. Pudge gets it. Inkswell was placed on the Pudge, but he wasn't able to get close to anybody, and now they'll bring the Phoenix over towards his top lane, and he's got Supernova to deal with. If they get a little too comfortable in this lane, Phoenix is definitely one of those heroes that a lot of players underestimate. Icarus Dive comes in with the Spirits. Frostbite under the tower, taking a lot of damage, looking for a hook, coming out to their right. The Phoenix kind of steps in front of the Pudge, stopping that hook from being a possibility, and just gets the Supernova off. Hooking back the Grimstroke, they'll kill the Crystal Maiden. The Stomp hits on 3. For a moment, I did not think he was going to get that off. I'd love to know if he spammed it.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
The thing that I don't like about this here for the Dire is they're leaving the Ursa unattended. Now, I talked about how the Phoenix, he only died once in that bottom lane. You don't want to extend or, you know, enhance his ability to farm and give him those kills, but Inkswell should land on a couple as they get the kill here onto the Elder Titan. The sweep lands on 3. Pudge running away. Mirana needs to leap out. One more shot and she would have been dead. Grimstroke creep tossed on top of him as well as a tree. Just getting pummeled with objects thrown at him and ends up taking the fall. Crystal Maiden, yeah, that's the wrong direction. Mid tower already gone as Pugna had made his way back. He's going into a Kaya first. Supernova down for another 35 seconds. This Tinker, not Tiny, almost has the Boots Travel, then going into a Blink Dagger, but the Boots Travel kind of allows him to move around a little bit. Clean up these waves and, you know, not let these heroes like the Pugna, like the Ursa, feel too comfortable in pushing out these lanes. So, at the moment, it's a 1,000 net worth lead for the Radiant. 11.5 minutes in, we take a look at the net worth. And yeah, you'll see that the Pugna is on top. Ursa's being given enough space to sit second on the list. And Tinker following shortly after. Meanwhile, Mirana over top dies. And this is to the Tiny, who's finding a little bit of strength here at level 6. And then Tinker again sitting so low. He gets spotted for a second, and that's his life. They stack once again. They'll give that up here to the Pugna. As this time, Elder Titan finally working with the extra damage that he's been giving the Inkswell, possibly onto this Elder Titan under the tower. He's in a lot of trouble. The Stroke of Fate charged up, but the Nether Ward takes him out. Mirana comes over. The leap. 4 heroes here. That's a leap into death. But ends up surviving for now as the Pugna finally gets tossed next to him, and the Nether Blast will blow him up.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
So very ambitious there from the Mirana. You've got 2 heroes nearby. Pudge gets a hook out, eats the Nether Blast, tossed up, running away. Might want to rot himself to death, but gets out of the life drain. And now the Sunray on top of the Tiny. Phoenix gets at least 1 in return, and they don't lose this Pudge. But meanwhile, Tinker's been spotted over mid, and with this Blink Dagger, I think that's a debut of that Blink Dagger too, he'll end up losing his life. Dismember. 1 tower shot comes in, the rot, and Pugna life draining, staying alive, and Pudge ends up dying. Radiant coming out ahead in these skirmishes. Are they setting up for a smoke? Or just a shrine and then maybe a smoke afterwards? Courier coming over with smoke? No, actually. Just 4 heroes staying together, being friends. That's cool. Friendship's cool. Oh, now they smoke. Oh, okay. friendship and smoke. We see that a lot in the Dota scene. You win together, you smoke together. Ursa with another kill, that time on the Mirana. With this smoke over towards the top lane, or in top jungle area, they're not going to find anybody as they're more towards this bottom area of the map on the Dire side. Ursa gets a kill on the Mirana. Tinker, where is he at right now? He's over towards top. Ursa continuing to farm up. Again, he does have that Blink Dagger, has the Morbid Mask. He's sitting level 12, second in the net worth, only 50 gold behind the Pugna, who heads over towards top to push out this lane. Not going to allow this Tinker to use March of the Machines and pressure, but they've got the Dismember as well as the Inkswell. That should lock in the Ursa. Is it going to be enough? The Sunray on top of him, so much damage. Now the Laser and the Silence. But asleep on a 4. Tiny, unfortunately, does not have a Blink Dagger. Otherwise, that is a 4-man avalanche, too.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So if you had Radiant on your F10K, obviously this is a pub game, so you don't. You just won.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
What did the Crystal Maiden end up doing? Just going 1-2-4. Don't really need the ulti. Isn't exactly safe in these fights. The Arcane Aura is nice, especially at level 4 for these heroes like Tiny and as well as the Pugna. But he's got the Kai, he's got a lot of mana. Doesn't really bother him. I would say Elder Titan more than anything wants that extra bit of mana. Or mana regen. Hook comes out, Elder Titan kind of standing still, puts him in trouble. Icarus dive, as well as the Spirits on top of him. Stroke of Fate will be what gets the kill. Crystal Maiden on the run as the Phantom's Embrace has silenced him. The Inkswell will not land onto the Crystal Maiden, but a rocket comes through and pushes her behind the tower.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Mirana should sense that the Pugna is nearby with the Nether Ward debuff. Or not debuff, but you can see that you're under its vision. And Ursa grabbing an Aegis under the nose of the Dire. So they've got a 4,000 net worth lead. And really looking pretty good 16 minutes into the game. The blink forward, the slow onto the Mirana has leap, but an Avalanche that would follow it up could have gotten the kill. He's got the Blink Dagger in his stash, unfortunately does not have it on him. Ursa turns around and trying to get this Supernova off. The arrow comes in. Oh, just pops beforehand. They lose the Aegis on the Ursa. They get right next to him. They'll look for the Dismember. And with the March of the Machines on top, the Stroke of Fate coming in, that'll be not one, but looking at 2 here as Crystal Maiden needs to run.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And that is 2 kills. Oh, gets the Tiny Blind. And the leap forward.
Dire's structures are
Tiny will fall. Ooh, the bottom Tinker taken out again. Pugna coming through, and just the Decrepify, the Nether Blast, level 14, 4-2-4-2. Outputting a lot of damage real fast onto this Tinker. Let's take a look at his death summary. Just quick 1,400 or 1,300 magical damage. It's just a creep. Don't rot yourself to death. Or do. That works too. I kind of expected it. Once he got like low enough, it's like, do I walk back to the base and heal up, or do I just die? I just die. Phoenix dies. As again, now I think that was the debut there, because Tiny died over mid of the Blink Dagger on the Tiny. So you had the Blink Dagger debut on Ursa before, that got a kill. Now the Blink Dagger debut on the Tiny, that gets another kill. It would not have been better with techies. There's been at least 15 requested games that had techies. You guys are masochists.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
13-12, 4,000 net worth lead here for the Radiant. Dire just have to hold on. I think Tinker brings them good high ground support. If we do see the Radiant get to that point where they're pushing, I would say in the next 10 minutes or so, they seem to be pressuring quite a bit. They have the heroes to take these towers swiftly. Missing the hook. Decrepify blinking, looking for the Grimstroke. Dagging comes through. They'll get the kill into the Grimstroke. take him out and pressure the tower, but that's what I'm talking about. You want the Tinker to try and defend these towers and, if worst comes to worst, defend the high ground. What does Phoenix have? He's going for Ags and a Midas, but Midas in the Ags, I would assume, makes more sense. Just gonna go. I'm missing that kill. I get it, but I'm thinking of what he's gonna get here. My camera work on this one has been not great. Getting warm at this moment. But they lose the Elder Titan again. The Elder Titan, against this lineup, this dire lineup, would never really have a great opportunity unless his positioning is amazing to find a good stop. Ooh, oops. Coming through onto the Crystal Maiden. Pudge rotting right on top, and the Frostbite's there, but the Rod is stronger. An easy kill. Blink forward. Rocket's coming through. We'll look for the sweep. Won't land on anybody. Got the Moonlight Shadow to possibly follow it up. Blink into a hook, but nobody home. Rocket's coming in. It's just Morbid Mask. Not going Mask and Madness. I don't know if he just doesn't trust himself to not use it at the wrong time. But he's got the Basher ready. It's just in his stash. Courier going back home to pick up the rest of that. Throw-ins for the Tinker. He's got Blink and Boots of Travel. What does Marana have? It's been a slow farm for this Marana. Unfortunately, 1, 4, and 7. 94 last hits. It just seems a little lacking. Maybe. All right. Is the rest of this coming on the way? Yeah. Okay. So the Mjolnir's here. It should be getting a little better for the Marana. Couple of untimely deaths, to be quite honest, and Dagon level 2 for this Pugna. Tiny going Echo Saber, Elder Titan going into the Yules. Abyssal Blade for the Ursa, so just going into the Morbid Mask, going with the Abyssal Blade next. They've got the Dismember once more. This is onto the Pugna. A lot of damage being dealt with 3 heroes here for the Dire, but they get the bash onto the Pugna. Earth Splitter following it up, and now Phoenix hit by it. They look over at the Grimstroke, soul binding the Ursa to the Elder Titan, and now ulti from the Crystal Maiden for just a moment, but the Rocket's hit. And Grimstroke doesn't end up dying until the Spirit comes out, but the arrow lands onto the Ursa. 2 for 2. And they're still looking to grab this Elder Titan. Tiny nearby. Crystal Maiden finally falls. And he'll stomp, but Marana's right here. Has 1 leap available. Avalanche toss. A lot of damage being dealt.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Knows where the Elder Titan is, and Marana's able to escape.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen. Radiant's middle
Tinker
tower
catching up, almost top of the net worth. 400 gold away from that Ags. Where's Phoenix? Skipped the Midas. Just going Ags. Okay. Went Veil. Blink forward, Dismember once more, and Ursa in trouble once again. The Phantom's Embrace on top of him. Sunray burns him out. They'll look for the sweep. It'll hit onto the Tinker. See if they have enough follow-up to get the kill. Moonlight Shadow keeping him out of vision. The Sentry Ward is the Dire, so they just have no way of getting in on him. Oh, but the long-range arrow onto this Pugna. Elder Titan ends up eating the hook. Avalanche coming through, and now the life drain back to half health, but the Soulbind comes through. The Phantom's Embrace on both of them. They lose 3 heroes, and the Pudge ends up denying himself. It turns into a full team wipe.
and now Mighty little
That goes horribly for the Radiant.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And I once felt the Radiant were putting the pressure on the Dire. I mean, when you get a full team wipe, you take as much as you can get, and that's going to be a tier 2 over mid.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
How did that go so wrong? That arrow started it off. They clumped together. The Soulbind, the hook, Marching the Machines, the laser. I mean, Tinker's got his Ags now going into the E-Blade. Ursa, I don't know what you're doing to jump into this one, but you're asking to die, and that's exactly what's happened.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Please, sir, may I have another? $250 gold away from that Ags. It would be the ultimate troll to put yourself in a bad supernova position and pull in your team. Ah, easy little regen right there. Another blast. Frostbite, life drain. Mirana in trouble, avoiding the avalanche. Stays alive, but now the Soulbind on the 2. Not going to matter, but the rocket's flying in. The laser onto the Tiny. He has to be careful as the arrow hits onto the Elder Titan. The laser now on both the Crystal Maiden and the ET. And another laser coming through, ending Elder Titan's life. And Ursa again showing up late to the party. Pugna shows up. You know, may not want to risk that. Blink forward, looking for a bash, finally finds it, and the arrow will come in. So it's a decent range arrow onto the Ursa, who has already used that ult. It's on cooldown for 32 seconds. The blink forward, the rocket's coming in, takes out the Ursa, the leap forward, and the kill onto the Crystal Maiden, but the avalanche toss will clean up the Mirana. They finally find the Tiny. The Nether Ward is an annoyance, but, well, not enough to get any kills. It's enough to deter the Dire, though. So it's all of a sudden turned into a 7,000 net worth lead. The Ags is picked up on the Phoenix. Bring an allied hero into your supernova. So, you know, someone you hate the most. It's the ultimate 3-step troll. Step 1, have a great early game as Phoenix. Step 2, buy Ags. Step 3, kill your worst enemy on your team. And yourself, but... Nice. Avalanche, toss. Grimstroke hit once, then by both the Tiny as well as the Ursa. He's an easy kill. The thing that I've been noticing for the Radiant is they've stayed together quite a bit. And their farm has slowed down significantly on some of these heroes. I would say especially for the Tiny, who had this Blink Dagger very quickly, his farm has kind of stagnated. But someone like the Mirana, who is stagnated early, has now gone into a Mjolnir, farming all right. Second in net worth for the Dire side. Can't be upset with that. I think Tiny pings out Roche, or that might have been the Grimstroke. But, okay. Tiny blinking back towards his tower. Dismember comes out. They've got the Blade Mail, and now Decrepify, Nether Blast, Life Drain coming in, and with the Stomp and the one shot from the Tiny, they'll get the kill. They'll bring in the Ursa. He's looking to find a couple of kills here, but the Force Staff away, and the Supernova pulling in this Tinker. And hey, we're both back at full health. Soulbind through onto the Elder Titan. A lot of damage being done to the Mirana. Has to back off as they get the kill into the Elder Titan. Crystal Maiden frostbiting this Tinker, but he'll get the kill into the Pugna. And we'll be able to back out of trouble, as will the Mirana and the rest of the team. Alright, maybe this Phoenix likes his team. All comes down to, you know, do you like your team? Do you not like your team?
Tower is under attack.
Do you like good behavior score? Do you not? It's a whole slew of things. Has he got the E-Blade? No, but he picked up an Aeon Disc. Pudge had that Blade Mail. He's going into a 4-staff. Mjolnir BKB. Heaven's Halberd with the 4-staff on the Grimstroke. And then Phoenix, of course, with the Ags. Going Shivas. Drums. Shadow Blade. Okay. Still Yules for the Elder Titan. BKB for the Ursa next. And Pugna, Dagon 5, and Axe. I don't know if I agree with that Axe call. This tier 1 tower will drop after it's been glyphed.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
They have the scan that actually spots the Tiny, knowing that he's behind this tower and in between both. They will spot him anyway with the creeps pushing in. 5 heroes over here towards top, and they smoke as well as Moonlight Shadow. So they have the scan. They'll look for the kill. Pudge right under his nose. There's the dismember and the damage. No way he's getting out. But he's just standing there, you know, he's not doing all that much. And he was caught kind of in no man's land, not really farming, not really moving around too much, and Dire took advantage of that information that they gained with the scan and killed him.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
This has been a dire lead for quite some time. 10,000 net worth lead, going for the tier 2 tower, pushing it with probably the 2 least effective pushers on the team. Although Grimstroke is in that as well. Just taking the tower down to a third of its health. Letting that happen to a Phoenix and a Pudge. Pots 2 here for the Tinker. They did get that early Aegis. Ursa was able to sneak that by. Haven't taken another one since. And it is up and available, and it does look as though the Radiant might be looking to either, I would say, smoke to get into the Roche Pit. That would be a fine idea, but they're going to smoke and try and get a couple of kills. That may not be a fine idea. Grimstroke, blink short on the low ground. Avalanche toss, hooking back the Grimstroke, but they get the kill. Icarus dive across, Earth Splitter coming through, but Grimstroke buys back. And that smoke and that aggressive forward step, it does end up getting them a kill, but they lose the Crystal Maiden. So in the grand scheme of it all, it's not really worth it. I would have said just go into Roche. Don't even go for the kill. All they got out of that one is a Grimstroke. With where the Dire were, maybe they don't get Roche in that position. But if they were, and it comes down to the fact that the Ursa blinked and hit the low ground, but they might have wanted to play it a little bit more aggressively, but it's hesitation and a little bit of off play from the Radiant that leads them into a poor showing in that last engagement. Dire taking control of the Roche area. Pudge will just blink by the Elder Titan. Will be Yules'd up. They'll look for the sweep. Avalanche is there. Arrow coming across the blink forward from the Ursa. Gets the bash and another leap away. Icarus dive through. Was trying to pick up the Mirana. Unable to do so, but they've got the Dismember onto the Ursa. Stroke of Fate comes in with another bust as well as the Decrepify onto the Pudge. Frostbite hits the Phoenix into the Supernova, trying to stay alive with the BKB popped here by the Ursa. The toss comes in. They'll kill off this Phoenix, but they lose the Tiny. They lose the Crystal Maiden. So far, a 3 for 2 in the favor of the Radiant side. As He's gonna choose to finish this Ags first before the Dagon 5. I don't know, the Tinker could have had this E-Blade earlier. He chose to upgrade his bots. Not that I think it makes a huge difference, but probably would have been happy otherwise. So Ags here for the Pugna. Ursa still going back for that Abyssal Blade and went for the BKB. Had it queued up earlier. Realized he was dying quite a bit. Put himself in some piss poor positions. So, I mean, he thinks the BKB has helped him. It did help him in that last engagement. We'll see if it continues to be that benefactor for him. Still looking for the Shivas, close to the Mystic Staff. BKB picked up here for the Mirana. Went Mjolnir into the BKB. What does Crystal Maiden have? Not much. Although is close to getting that 150 gold per minute. And that would be the right idea. I don't think you really need that mana cost, mana loss. Find the Crystal Maiden, not able to survive. 5-0 for bottom for the Dire. Another easy pick-off on this position 5 support, which is unfortunate. It's just the life of a 5. The 5s combined have 17 deaths in this game, making up for at least a third. Just about a third? Is that bad math? Might be bad math. But Tiny under their noses, and this could start pretty well. If they could find an Avalanche Toss with a Stomp, but the Soulbind comes out into the Ursa as well as the Pugna. Now they've got the Phantom's Embrace to silence them both up, blinking away. And now the Sun comes out onto the Tiny. BKB will be popped here by the Mirana, doing so much damage, looking for more. Earth Splitter comes out, but it's not going to be in a good enough range. Blink forward, Tiny on the run. Sunray on top of him with the Veil. They'll get themselves a second. Buyback comes up from the Elder Titan as well as the Tiny. They look at the Crystal Maiden. The hook comes in, gets the kill. The arrow flying, not going to land. Buyback from both those heroes. And Blink with the Avalanche Toss. Dagon. This Phoenix is burnt out. The sun has gone cold. But a toss onto the Grimstroke once again, pulling him back with the hook, but just by a couple inches. They'll get the kill onto the Pugma, where they've got the Dismember with Blade Mail pop, so Elder Titan dies after buying back a little bit earlier. Tiny, he just bought back as well, so he needs to be very careful. He'll toss the Pudge onto the Mirana, and Ursa forced back out of mana and low on health. So this goes really well for the Dire. Find themselves with a 13,000 net worth lead. Nothing really standing in their way. They did lose the Phoenix, but he was popped pretty quick. Let's see. Tinker going into the BKB. Mirana into the Butterfly. That BKB really helped get under that tower and play that aggressive spot. Off that, I might have expected the Dire to go for Roche. They don't exactly take it that well. So that might be stopping them from really taking... They don't have a great Roche taking lineup in this game. Arrow. blindly landing onto a Crystal Maiden. That's just, when you play a 5 that is this far behind, you gain magnetic properties that people don't know about. That's a thing. Vanguard and the recipe coming out for the Abyssal Blade. We'll see if that's going to be a game changer here. Still down by 14,000 net worth. It's very hard for them to take these fights. It requires them to land a good stomp and follow that up with like an avalanche and a toss. It started with the Tiny trying to get, you know, under the Dire, but that wasn't enough. Feels like this Pugna hasn't been doing much either, but he has gone in the Dagon 4, so he is hitting away at these heroes on the Dire with that. Took a little burst damage. Lotus Orb on the Pudge. 20. Wow, 20 Flesh Heap stats. That's disgusting.
Mine.
And that is, in fact, giving him 50 extra strength. Man, almost 4,000 health. This is the mother of all Pudges. And this ward will spot where the Elder Titan's at. And the Rockets give away this vision. Sentry ward placed down, and they will take care of the Observer. Both teams very hesitant about going in. Looking for the right positioning, looking for the right spot. You can see the Tiny up here. Now with the Dire no longer having that vision. But Pudge coming in. He's got to know there's a sentry there. They just took out the Observer ward. Don't have this newer area on the high ground, so it's not like today's games. But they go for Roche. After all this back and forth, this stalemate that was happening towards this mid area, right into the Roche pit with the double damage is the Dire team, and the leap, the extra attack speed, and they got it, and it will be picked up quickly enough. Nobody hit by that sleep either. Tinker just farming away, very close to the BKB. Link hook hits the Ursa because the Elder Titan sidestepped it. BKB comes out, Pudge in a little bit of trouble. He's got the Blade Mail out, but they've already lost the Aegis on the Mirana. The Icarus dive comes through with the Elder Titan's Earth Splitter. They get the kill onto the Grimstroke. Abyssal Blade onto the Tinker, but he pops the BKB. He's also got that Aeon Disc. He stays alive. They'll get the kill onto the Elder Titan. He's dead for another 80 seconds. They look over to the Tiny, trying to run away with the BKB, running out on the Mirana, but up on the top of these stairs by the tier 3. Avalanche, Frostbite, Cheese Eaten, staying alive a little longer, and able to just walk away. So that was a 2-for-1 with Aegis used.
Salamene smiles upon me.
"42 minutes in, 18,000 net worth lead. Still holding the lead, still, you know, posturing up on this Radiant team. Refresher. Okay. Let's see if he can get this refresher.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
We didn't really need to play this perfectly. BKB is 7 seconds. But it will be fresh BKBs for the Pugna and the Tiny eventually. Smoke coming out from the Dire. On 3 heroes. They can follow this up with the Moonlight Shadow. And there it is. Over towards mid. This Ursa's in trouble. They've got the Dismember on top. Starstorm, Sunray disarmed, but the BKB comes out, so he'll stay alive for a little bit longer. He looks over at the Phoenix. The Earth Splitter coming in as well as the Abyssal Blade, but the Yules is out, doing a lot of damage as the Soulbind and the Laser coming through and hitting hard. They get the Crystal Maiden and the Pugna as well as the Elder Titan. Whew. A lot of damage there from that Tinker. A lot of damage. Wow. That's disgusting. And honestly, just rude.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
Swift comes out. Avalanche toss. A lot of damage done here to the Grimstroke, but he's able to walk away with the BKB being popped by the Tiny. They look towards the high ground. They've got the Supernova, and they get the kill on the Ursa. Pulled in the Mirana, getting the Mirana back to full health, and there goes Tiny on top of it all. Down for 2 minutes. Phoenix with the plays, with the Supernova, pulling in those teammates that need it most.
Radiant's middle barracks are under attack.
And besides this Ursa, they don't exactly have a way to deal with the
Radiant's
Supernova.
barracks has fallen. Radiant's middle
27,000 net
Radiant's
worth
top
lead.
tower has fallen.
That's cool. Just a full Tinker's worth of net worth ahead. But Radiant fighting it out, unlike my allies. And this is down 30,000 net worth. My allies, 5,000 net worth. This game is over. Dota is stupid. Sweep onto the Pudge, or Splitter following this up. Laser, E-Blade with the Stroke of Fate, hitting onto the Crystal Maiden, blink forward from the Ursa, but now he's in no man's land. He'll get the bash to come through onto the Pudge, but he'll get dismembered, slept up. Arrow comes in, eaten by, I believe, a creep. They get the Pugna, lock him in. The life drain will be enough, but no. The Soulbind comes out. The Phantom's Embrace is on the Elder Titan. The ulti from the Crystal Maiden only lasts so long, letting it snow for just a split second. The Meteorologist didn't call for a week's worth of snow, just a moment's notice. And they get the kill onto the Elder Titan. They get the kill onto the Crystal Maiden. The buyback immediately from the CM on top of it. So 30,000 net worth lead. They blew up that Mirana. Just, I thought that said roasted, but it was decrepified and took 1,500
Thank you.
magic damage to the face. It's quite a bit. Smoke from the Grimstroke. Does he have the refresher yet? No, he's getting there. Damage waiting over top. What does his Ursa have? His BKB, 5 seconds. Satanic next. Tiny's BKB at 9. And everybody back up for the rating. Roshi in about a minute and a half. I'm waiting for the refresher orb. I'm waiting for the double supernova, double save. They don't really have anybody to take it out. They just don't. Especially with this Heaven's Halberd on the Grimstroke. The second that BKB is up, what do? How do you kill the supernova? You just don't. You just don't. The Phoenix is such a good pick against this lineup. The Ursa can take care of it, nobody can. So double damage and has enough.
Radiant's bottom
Yeah?
shrine is
Yeah.
under attack.
Trying to do some math in my head.
Double damage.
Grabbing that bottom shrine.
Has fallen.
Radiant don't exactly know what to do here. But Radabatos popping the Lincolns of the Mirana. Stroke of Fate onto the creeps. They clean them up pretty quickly. The sweep is through onto the Tinker as well as the Mirana. They're starting to posture over bottom. The Tinker looks over towards top. Pugna's there. How much is this Astral Spirit giving him? Should be quite a bit. Going forward, Hook's missing. Radabatos into the Lotus Orb. A wise decision. Hook again kind of missing from that point blank range, but they've got the Soulbind onto the Elder Titan as well as the Crystal Maiden, though. Avalanche toss. Grimstroke trying to get away. He's got the Inkswell on him. Earth Splitter comes in. The Bash is coming through. That'll be at least one. He's dead for 88 seconds. The Blade Mail is popped on the Pudge, doing a lot of damage. There's the Sunray right on top. The BKB will be popped by the Mirana, and now Tinker in a lot of trouble. The Supernova comes in. They toss up the Tinker. Where did he go? They get the Tinker in and out of the egg. Full health. He's been reborn. Just like Jesus 3 days later. Up in the air. It was a magic trick from the beginning. I don't know if you've ever had the Lazy Man's Magician, where they hold up two fingers, one in one, they throw up the finger in the air, and they catch it in their other hand. That's basically what he just did there with this Supernova, as they tossed up the Tinker, saving him from his demise.
Middle tower is under attack.
And now he's got the Refresher Orb.
Middle tower has fallen. Radiant's ancient is under attack.
But we'll see if that even... He'll use it. He'll pull in the Mirana.
Radiant's ancient is under attack.
This is rude. Pudge is doing all the work himself. And they will win the game. Deceiving your enemies 101.